Unfortunately, many teenagers won't darken the door of a church until someone steps into their world first. Globally, most teenagers are educated in middle schools and high schools. That is why our mission in Crew is to build spiritual movements on every campus so that every student has the chance to know and follow Jesus Christ. Should that happen, we could give every person in the world the opportunity to begin a relationship with God at the time in their life when they are most open spiritually. The opportunity is staggering. That is why I think that reaching teenagers is one of the most strategic ministries worldwide, as this diagram illustrates. Spiritual movements can be defined as a group of students and adults motivated by faith, walking in the power of the Holy Spirit, and united in purpose to share Christ throughout a school. As those who respond are built in their faith, new spiritual leaders emerge, who in turn reach out to others, and an explosion of changed lives can occur. How do we build them? We enlist students and adults, including Crew staff, volunteers, parents, and others, to reach campus. Equip them with necessary ministry skills and resources to build a movement. Empower them by giving them ownership of the movement and challenging them to spiritual leadership. And we partner with churches and other ministries to accomplish the task. Finally, we believe and have personally witnessed that students who are discipled and challenged in the context of caring relationships are not only capable of living consistent Christian lives, but many are also able to multiply their faith among their peers. The best people to reach youth are youth. As much as we believe in reaching students across America, it is even more critical to reach teens throughout the rest of the world. According to Youth Hope, 90% of all youth ministry takes place inside the U.S., and yet 97% of all youth exist outside of the U.S. The opportunity for someone to know, or even find, a single person who truly follows Jesus Christ is incredibly rare in many countries of the world, especially compared to the USA, where there is a true follower in virtually every community. Since Crew has a presence in 190 countries, we establish partnerships with staff, churches, and other ministries who are called to reach teenagers in strategic locations throughout the world. We send out teams of high school and university students, along with staff and volunteers, on short-term missions to help jumpstart and sustain these outreach ministries. The energy, excitement, and momentum a team of American young people can bring to a local movement in a foreign country is almost impossible to understate. Because of the seeds planted by American teens, many come to faith in Jesus during these 1 to 6 week projects. But there are also those who come to faith weeks, months, and even years later because a local staff or church member continued to nurture and cultivate that seed of faith long after the teen returned home. Like Alex, who I mentioned before. These efforts have helped launch spiritual movements in places where none existed previously. However, the impact is not just abroad, because American students return home on fire for Christ. Often they come back eager to lead their friends and family members to the Lord. I've seen God use mission projects as a catalyst to eventually call that student into full-time mission work years later, like Chris, who spent a summer in Macedonia and a couple years in Italy. I've also seen God use projects to expand students' hearts for the gospel and compassion for the world. In short, God changes everyone involved. In addition to our short-term mission teams, we sent adults to serve the Lord overseas for 1 to 2 year youth ministry assignments, called stints, as well as longer-term assignments. Lastly, we conduct training forums to help national leaders launch movements to youth in other countries using biblical principles that can be applied in any cultural context. We've looked at the question, why teenagers, as well as how do we reach them? That leaves the final question, how can you help? We are in need of like-minded people who will prayerfully consider joining our team of ministry partners. To learn more about what that entails, please take a few moments to watch our final video.